On a quiet suburban street outside Boston, a woman in a silk blouse and bare feet stared through the peephole at the last person she ever expected to see. On her porch at midnight, the janitor from her office tower. Olivia Hart's porch light threw a harsh circle over his navy coveralls, the worn name patch that read Marcus, and the white knuckles around the flashlight in his hand. He looked like he'd run the whole way, chest heaving, eyes scanning the shadows behind her, as if someone else might step out at any second. When she yanked the door open, her voice came out sharp. "Why are you here at my house?" Marcus Blake swallowed, thinking of his sleeping 8-year-old back in their cramped apartment, and the security feed he'd stared at in horror half an hour earlier. "To keep you alive tonight," he said quietly. "And we're already running out of time." Before Olivia could slam the door, a distant pop echoed from the side of the house, and the lights flickered. "Before we start, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from?" Olivia's hand froze on the edge of the door. The porch light dimmed, flared, then steadied in a weak yellow halo. Somewhere near the back of the property, something hummed and died. "This isn't funny," she said. "If this is some weird prank from HR..." The man on her step shook his head. Up close, she recognized him now. The night janitor from the Heartful media tower. Navy coveralls, worn name patch, Marcus. Sweat shone at his hairline despite the chill. "Ms. Hart, I mop the floors on 32, he said. "I see everything that gets left behind after you all go home." "I know who you are," she snapped. "That doesn't explain why you're at my house at midnight." He swallowed. "2 guys in contractor vests were in your office tonight after hours. They weren't on the schedule. I heard them say your name, your address, and the words, 'in and out' before she knows what hit her. Then the security feed for your floor cut out." Olivia's throat tightened. "You're serious?" "I called building security," Marcus said. "They told me to mind my business, so this is me not minding my business." A cold draft slipped past her bare legs. She thought of the empty driveway and the alarm app that had glitched earlier. "You should call the police," she said. "Not show up here like this." "I did," he replied. "From the subway. They said they'd send a car to do a drive-by. Non-imminent threat. Their words, not mine." His gaze flicked past her shoulder into the dark hallway. "Can we not have this conversation with your door wide open?" Her pride wanted to slam it. She was Olivia Hart, interim CEO, used to hostile shareholders, not jumpy janitors with spy movie stories. Then the porch light dimmed again, shuddered, and went out completely. Her phone lay on the console table by the door. She snatched it up, thumb pressing the power button. The screen stayed black. "Seriously?" she whispered. "There's a jammer somewhere," Marcus said through the gap. "They had one at the building. It killed the cameras before the feed went black." Her stomach dropped. "How do you even know what a jammer is?" He huffed out a breath that almost counted as a laugh. "Single dad with a kid who loves heist movies. You pick things up." The hallway lamp behind her threw a narrow band of light over his shoulders and the dark yard beyond. "Ms. Hart," Marcus said, voice low. "Please, let me in or come with me, but don't stand here like a target." Somewhere upstairs, a faint creak answered him. Olivia's heart kicked. "Did you hear that?" "Yeah," he breathed. "That's footsteps." Her mind scrambled for explanations. Pipes shifted. Another creak, heavier this time, directly above the foyer. Without fully deciding to, she slid the chain free and yanked the door open. Marcus stepped in quickly, closing it behind him with a soft, deliberate click. "Hey, you can't just," she hissed. "Lock it." he murmured. If someone's already inside, we want them to think you're still alone, not that you bolted. She twisted the deadbolt. Marcus moved past her, every motion controlled, flashlight still dark. Up close, she saw the tired lines around his eyes and the cheap detergent smell in his clothes. "Do you have anything for self-defense?" he asked. "A tennis trophy in sharp sarcasm," she whispered. "What do you expect, a shotgun in the umbrella stand?" A soft thud sounded above them, the close of a bedroom door. Marcus's jaw tightened. "Then stay behind me." He felt along the wall until his fingers found the recessed breaker cabinet. When he opened it, Olivia saw what he had probably expected, but hoped not to find. The main switch was already thrown, jammed in the off position with a slim silver wedge. Someone had killed her power from inside the house. Olivia stared at the slim wedge in the breaker, a chill crawling up her spine. "So someone had to be down here," she whispered. "In my house." Marcus eased the metal door shut. "Yeah, and they wanted this place dark before you noticed." He moved like he'd done this 100 times. Olivia's brain, still trying to file him under quiet guy with a mop, couldn't keep up. "Kitchen," he murmured. "You'll feel better with something in your hand." "I am not arming myself with a spatula," she hissed, but followed. They crept down the hallway, lights dead, only the faint glow from the street seeping through the blinds. In the stainless steel reflection of her fridge, she saw the two of them. Marcus opened a drawer without a sound and pulled out a chef's knife, passing it to her handle first. "You take that," he said. "I'll improvise." She swallowed. "You're awfully calm about breaking into your boss's house. You're awfully calm about guys planning to make you disappear." He shot back. "My kid needs me home tomorrow, so I'm planning on us both making it through the night." Above them, a floorboard groaned. Heavy steps crossed from one end of the hallway to the other. Olivia's pulse hammered. "They're looking for something," Marcus breathed. "They said, once we find the drive, we're done." "Does that mean anything to you?" Her mind jumped to the fireproof safe in her home office, to the external hard drive she'd almost taken to the office that morning, full of files from her late father, old audits, signed letters, things she hadn't read. "The drive is here," she whispered. "Top floor, office." His eyes flicked to hers. "Then we get to it first. Or we leave," she countered. "We take your car, we go to the police, we—" A male voice drifted down from upstairs, casual, almost bored. "Check her office again. Crawley wants that drive gone before the vote tomorrow. No loose ends." Crawley. Leon Crawley, chairman of Hartwell's board. The man who'd smiled across the table last week and told her she was like a daughter. Marcus's gaze sharpened. "You know that name." "He's my boss's boss," she said. "And tomorrow there's a vote about whether I stay on as CEO." He stared at her. "Then tonight isn't a random break-in? It's a cleanup." Another set of footsteps joined the first. Olivia pictured them rifling through drawers, the safe door yawning open. "Backstairs," she whispered. "They won't know about those." Marcus nodded. They slipped through the mudroom and eased open the narrow door to the servants' staircase. Each step creaked enough to make Olivia wince, but the voices upstairs stayed distant. At the landing, she peeked around the doorway. The hallway outside her office glowed faintly. Two men in contractor vests stood with their backs to her, drawers dumped, papers scattered. The safe behind her desk hung open. "It's empty," one muttered. "You sure she didn't already move it?" "Crawley said it was here," the other replied. "We keep looking until—" A phone buzzed. He turned slightly enough for Olivia to see the logo on his jacket sleeve. Hartwell Corporate Security. "They're my security team," she whispered. "They're supposed to protect me. Looks like they're protecting Crawley instead." He pointed to the far end of the hallway. "Is that your bedroom?" "Guest room," she said. "Window faces the side yard." "Good. We grab the drive, we get out that way. Do you have it hidden somewhere else?" "Behind the photo on my desk." Marcus nodded. "On my count, you go for it. I'll distract them." "Distract them how?" she hissed. He managed a tight, humorless smile. "I've cleaned up after executives for 10 years. Time they noticed I exist." He moved before she could argue, stepping out into the hallway with deliberate, echoing footsteps. "Evening, gentlemen," Marcus called, voice too loud. "You lost?" Both men spun toward Marcus, hands shifting instinctively toward their tool belts. Olivia's breath caught. He looked impossibly small in that narrow hallway, just a janitor in worn coveralls facing 2 armed corporate enforcers. But Marcus stood his ground, shoulders squared, chin lifted. For a moment, Olivia wondered if this was how he'd looked in every boardroom he'd swept after midnight. Ignored, invisible, learning far more than anyone realized. "What are you doing here?" One guard barked, stepping forward. Marcus shrugged. "Same as you, working late. Problem is, I heard some interesting things downstairs. Sounded a whole lot like a felony." Both men stiffened. Olivia took her chance, slipping low across the carpet toward her office doorway. Her heartbeat thundered loud enough she feared they'd hear it. The taller guard moved toward Marcus. "You need to leave." Marcus kept his eyes on them, giving her the opening she needed. "See, I would," he said. "But then I'd have to explain to my kid why I let 2 criminals walk out of here with stolen property." Tension snapped through the hallway. The shorter guard lunged first, grabbing Marcus by the front of his coveralls. Olivia's fingers slid behind the framed photograph of her and her father. The cool metal of the external drive brushed her fingertips. The taller guard noticed. "Hey!" Marcus moved before he finished shouting. He shoved the man holding him backward, knocking him into his partner with a crash that shook the floor. Olivia grabbed the drive and bolted for the guest room at the far end of the hall. "Marcus, now!" He sprinted after her, slamming the guest room door shut just as a boot struck the other side. Olivia yanked up the window lock. Cold night air rushed in. "Jump," she gasped. "Climb," he corrected. "There's a roof line. Go." She swung a leg out, gripping the gutter and easing onto the slanted shingles. Marcus followed, pulling the window down behind him. A second later, fists pounded against the glass. They scrambled across the roof toward the oak tree that brushed the eaves. Olivia's bare feet slipped, but Marcus caught her wrist, guiding her until both reached the thickest branch. They climbed down onto the lawn, breathless. A spotlight snapped on from the neighbor's porch, slicing the darkness. "They'll be coming out the back," Marcus said. "We need distance." They sprinted across the yard, ducking behind the fence until they reached the driveway. Olivia's Range Rover sat in the shadow of a maple tree. "You have keys?" Marcus asked. "They're inside," she whispered. He pointed toward the street. "Then we run." They took off down the sidewalk, the cold biting their skin. Halfway, down the block, a black SUV roared around the corner, headlights flaring across the pavement. "They found us," Olivia gasped. Marcus grabbed her hand. "Not yet." He pulled her sharply into the narrow gap between 2 houses. As the SUV screeched past, they crouched low, breaths clouding in the air. "They won't stop," she whispered. Not until they destroy the drive. Marcus looked at her, eyes steady and fierce. Then we don't let them. His single sentence steadied something inside her. They moved again, slipping through backyards until they reached a small playground behind an elementary school. Under the soft glow of a flickering streetlight, Marcus crouched to catch his breath. "Tomorrow's vote," he said. "That drive, what's on it?" Olivia held the device tightly. "Proof my father recorded every illegal deal Crawley made. The board only kept him in power because they thought Dad's files were gone. If this goes public, Crawley's finished." Marcus nodded. "Then tonight, so are his men." Headlights swept across the schoolyard. The SUV rounded into the lot. Olivia's throat tightened. "There's nowhere left to run." Marcus rose slowly. "We don't run." He stepped into the open, hands raised, not in surrender, but in warning. Something about his stance, firm and unshaking, made Olivia blink. The SUV door opened. The guard stepped out, only to freeze as a second pair of headlights illuminated the lot. Police cruisers, 3 of them. Marcus exhaled, relief flickering across his face. "You called them again?" Olivia whispered. "No," he said. "They must have traced the earlier call." The guards bolted, but the officers were faster. Within seconds, the men were on the ground, hands behind their backs. An officer approached Olivia. "Ma'am, are you all right?" She nodded, voice trembling. "Thanks to him." She pointed to Marcus. The officer turned. "Sir, you saved her life tonight." Marcus shook his head. "Just did what anyone should." Olivia stepped closer, eyes softening as dawn's first light touched the playground. "Not anyone, Marcus. You." He finally allowed himself a small smile. For the first time, Olivia felt safe. Not because her house was guarded, but because someone who cared had stood between her and danger. And as she held the drive that could change everything, she knew she wouldn't face the coming storm alone.